Hello Vibes Kenya, it's your boy Thaddeus Murai and we're back on Vibes Kenya, and today we have a very interesting person with us today here at Golden Palm Hotels, and he goes by the name of Mr. Kariuki Ngunjiri. Sir, welcome.
Yes, how are you?
Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving us your time.
Asante sana.
Yes, so let's get into it.
Yes.
Briefly tell us about yourself, where you're from, who you are.
Okay. Oh, my name is Kariuki Ngunjiri, and I'm a public intellectual in this country. I majorly participate in the affairs of youth in politics, and a major stakeholder in the youth caucus within the Hustler Nation. I also write for the Star. I appear on Kenyan media as a commentator and consultant in political affairs. Every Thursday I have a show on KTN. It's called Political Point, and I also appear on K24 on Fridays for press review. I also have another show on Sunday on Shoro FM, where I represent the Hustler Nations in the affairs of this country, and because we want to get this country back to where we think it should be, and we have a very deliberate plan in what you're hearing being called the bottom-up economic approach, which bolsters the ideology of the common people in Kenya, and emboldening the fact that every hustle matters.
Yes.
So we are led by our philosopher king, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, whom my all loyalty and allegiance is to him. Yes. I grew up in a rather liberal family where current affairs and politics would be served together with a cup of porridge in the morning. My dad would either be talking about the Kibaki succession, or sometimes he would be mentioning things like Uhuru na Kazi. He would also be mentioning certain leaders like Colin Timama. Then he would be talking about leaders like Mukisa Kitui. I would essentially get a grasp of what cabinet President Kibaki was presiding over that time. I remember he would also mention some people like Joshua Toro, some of the common names that we used to hear then. He would mention another personality called Kerori. He would also mention other personalities within our area and the member of parliament then. So essentially, going to school, I never knew that I would actually join politics, but from my early days, I was a bright kid in school, and from my early days, I found myself being given rather responsibilities from, I think, class 2, 3 and 4, and I was doing very well, by the way. So I would become a prefect in school, and that is now how I became a little bit political. I would not say I was as passionate about politics as I am right now. Then I went to high school. I actually thought when I was in high school that I would be a better footballer than a politician or personality within the political arena. But fate has it that participating in the politics of the student council within the school that I was, and then from there coming to school, university, I basically was a very influential person.
Which university?
Kenyatta University. Even coming to university, I literally could pull strings even within the first days of campus, because I think I had gained a lot of experience from the just concluded election, where we participated in the 2017 elections. And then before that, we had also been within the political arena in the community. I was hired before the 2017 in some of the activities that would shape what would happen in the election and the affairs of that election. So that experience and the experience that I got within the university politics was part of what now became a sense of me now as a political. I was also very active in campus politics. So even then, I was also very influential in national politics because I remember very well that I was one of the most sought young political analysts in the country. And I would at times see it as a very as a big occasion for me at that time. So graduating in that process and now growing within that process for I think the last 5 years, if I'm not wrong, has been what I would call a legacy of resilience, perseverance, and a mentality of winning. So that is what has gotten me to where I am today.
Yes.
But I can tell you that from the days I finished school, I was also very influential in the affairs of the country. So that has been cemented by the fact that I believed that the youth can change this country. And that is what motivates me each and every day to do what I do. And going into the future, I think if the youth do not participate in the affairs of their country, then it means that there is no future. Because if we don't take care of the present, then how are we guaranteed that we are going to have a safer future? Winston Churchill, the most coveted wartime Prime Minister of all times, the United Kingdom, was right when he said that if we want to have a safe future, and the best way to get a future is to shape it right now. So I also draw a lot of inspirations from philosophers like Aristophanes the frog. And if you come to my house, you realize that one of the books that is always on the table is for Aristophanes the frogs. And the most profound quote that I get from him is, if you rise, you should rise in honor. And if you fall, let it be so. You don't give up, even when things seems to be difficult. And that is the message that we give to the young people each and every day.
Yes. And let's just move back a little bit. You said that your father was a man who was interested in politics. And do you think his interest rubbed off on you and indirectly kind of pushed you into that line of politics?
Well, I think that I would often get myself into trouble because I would, quote unquote, steal his newspapers to get a grasp of what is happening. I would read of certain writers like Philip Ochieng, who just died the other day, where he would comment on issues affecting the country. I would read from the Standard newspaper. Then my brothers at that time were also, I think, active in, for example, the corporate world. They were also active in administering elections from 2002. And that sort of gave me an understanding of wanting one day to participate in the affairs that shape
the country,
a nation state.
So
my father participated in giving me the best when it comes to shaping me to what I am today. The processes that have been in between that time notwithstanding, which include participating in politics in school, And then I think he was the motivation behind now me becoming decisive
Yes.
in decision making in life.
Yeah.
And I was very passionate about what I would see him do. That is reading.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how I developed a culture of reading and reading and reading and understanding global societies. But I will tell you what shaped even me into getting into university politics. I remember in a class of history in school, one of our teacher who was teaching us in Form 4 came in class, and they would have a culture of telling us what is happening around the globe.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this heat in the border between Ukraine and Russia. And there is a small part that is called Crimea.
Yes.
So that war had begun in 2007. And there were issues because I think Dmitry Medvedev, the Prime Minister of Russia, decided not to engage the people of Ukraine into discussing how Crimea should go, or how the people of Crimea should be handled. So that crisis was an interesting one by the history teacher, and I think that I got a passion to one day want to study international relations. It was not even political science.
Uh-huh.
It was, I wanted to what is this Russian crisis about?
Yeah.
And how do countries behave when they are faced with such a circumstance? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to unwind this phenomena about superpowers and how the Russian dominance in Ukraine has gone up to this point. Mm-hmm. So I a little bit changed. I initially wanted to become a lawyer, by the way, but that changed, and I got an interest in politics. So that is what now motivated me to go and have a passion to study political science.
Okay.
I can tell you the future of Kenya will be stronger if the young people understand where we've come from. And if we have a history of where this country has been, then we can be able to shape the future. You cannot shape the future if you do not understand your country. Mm-hmm. I have been in conflict with myself for quite a long time, trying to understand the reason why we find ourselves into this predicament that we are in today. Even when our forefathers, including the first president of this country, had envisioned a dream that we need to deal with poverty, disease, and ignorance. To date, those issues are still pertinent in society, and we have not been able to tackle them.
Yeah.
I think that I'm part of the generation that has come out very strongly. And now, in the narrative that we are involved in, I think that we are going to transform this country. I have been quoted as one of the most leftist, radicalized politician in this country as a young person.
Yeah.
That is what my fans call me, because essentially they say that I dress like the leftist, socialist, communist community that has been motivated from the communist Cuba.
And you believe in communism?
No, I don't actually believe in communism, but you know, in politics, and the foundation of this politics, as a political scientist, I can tell you that we have really angles into ideological setting in politics. You are either a conservative, you are either a midway, or a liberal, democratically minded person who are on the left. I belong to the left.
Okay.
The cap you see on my head is not just fashion. It has been motivated by politics of ideology. And that is why I believe that people see me as a very radical young person who not only understands the fabric of politics, but also has found himself in this gem of not being just a politician or a political analyst, but one who has a foundation of principles. I think that I don't question the critics that also say that I'm very idealistic when it comes to what I argue, but I can tell you each and every argument that I have made, whether it is on the newspaper or in whichever other platforms that have been watched by Kenyans, are as a result of pragmatic ideas which I believe will shape this country for a better future. So I think there are certain people who will obviously say that you are idealistic, but I can tell you my arguments have been based on pragmatism, which I have always been believing in for quite a long time, that we must get into practical situations if we want to sort the challenges that we face in this country.
Okay.
Yes.
And tell me, because I understand that you believe a lot in the youth and the youth taking this country to the way it should be, or growing this country rather.
Yes.
So what are your visions for the youth, and how do you intend on implementing these visions?
You see, we already have in the camp that I belong to within the Hustler Nation, we have a very robust plan to eradicate poverty and ensure that there is youth empowerment. I believe in His Excellency Philosopher King, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, whom I term as the most liberal, democratically minded politician and the most strategically minded leader that I know in history. I also think that he has a depth of analysis and a breadth of perspective on public policy. And I don't just follow him because of any other interest. It's because I have seen leadership that he has been able to offer over the years. And so he has come up with a bottom-up economic model that seeks to transform the lives of the young people through an envisioned practical document that he will implement once he takes government on the Wednesday of August next year. That way, I can tell you that the plan is to improve the livelihoods of the young people. And my ideas and his ideas are emboldened in that vision. So it is not just about every time selling false hope to young Kenyans. It is about being deliberate and honest in this conversation. The conversation has changed. We are not talking about power. We are talking about empowering the youth. And that is why I believe in the Hustler Nation. As a leader within the youth caucus in the Hustler Nation, I can tell you that the Deputy President is very, very, very deliberate about transforming the lives of young Kenyans. One, through making sure that we invest in manufacturing, which will create at least 3 million jobs in the next phase of 3 years. He also believes that it is important for a country not only to invest in brick and mortar, that is in infrastructure, but also to have a plan that makes sure that we invest in social businesses, that is investing in individuals. Hustlers within Kisumu go through the same problems that hustlers in Nairobi face, and in Eastern and in Western. We are saying that we need to decriminalize enterprise, because most of our young people have gotten themselves into hustling. They are either in Koja and all these other streets. So we will come up, and that is ongoing, with policies and laws as an infrastructure to hold the Hustler Nation economic model, where we ensure that the hustles of hustlers are not criminal, because today hawkers are viewed as criminals. We want to decriminalize that and make sure that we bring as many young people into the formal sector, whereby we can expand the tax base and make sure that we have improved livelihoods. That in mind, I have always been on the forefront, and I have on many occasions repeated this, that the future of this country will only be bright if the young people in the next election vote for the Hustler Nation. There is no ifs or buts. Amongst all the probable candidates that are going to vie in 2022, none has a plan and an agenda for Kenya like the Deputy President. Yes.
And tell me about the Hustler Nation. Who is the Hustler Nation? What do they stand for?
Yes.
And who will it benefit?
The Hustler Nation is a tribeless ideology that is backed by the populace, which believes that every business and hustle matters as long as it's not a criminal business. It matters within society. A hawker who sells eggs, another one who sells sweets, another one who does car wash, another one who does kinyozi. All of them have the same economic ideology of wanting to make it in future.
Make money.
And make money and become prosperous. So the Hustler Nation is a composition of millions and millions of Kenyans who believe that they can have a better tomorrow. This Hustler Nation ideology is a movement that will change the politics of this country for the better. For a long time, we have had tribal alliances that person A will merge with person B from this and this tribe, and then they will build a majority to win an election. However, the Deputy President, who is the main man who has come up with the Hustler Nation because he's a hustler himself, believes that we can build an alliance with Kenyans. And because every challenge that each and every person faces today is through economic issues. Nobody cares about the politics of the day if they have money in their pocket. And so we believe that the problems that are facing this country are not tribalism or ethnicity. They are economic issues. And that is what the Hustler Nation is all about. It is going to benefit millions and millions of Kenyans when we have a structure of making sure that in each and every constituency there will be a kitty of about 30 billion that will be given directly to the common people to boost their hustles. So this way we are going to transform the social business culture in Kenya. These enterprises will give people the capacity to be able to create employment and take care of their families. Once we have sorted the economic problems of Kenya, then we have sorted each and every problem in this country. So I have always asked every Kenyan who has not boarded this bandwagon to do that very fast, and you will see that stampede. You have seen what has happened in the elections in Kiambaa, and already the people have bought into this idea. You saw the philosopher king in Kisumu, Kondele, a place that we never got any voters, Jubilee, in the last election, but you could already see the young people who support Raila Odinga in other elections chanting hustler, hustler, hustler. That means this is a movement that will change and bring a radical surgery to the politics of this country. Yes.
And as we wrap up, just quickly tell me about your political analysis career. Just briefly.
Yes. I can tell you that I have been in this game for quite some time, and I have become one of the most sought, in fact, I'm the most sought youth when it comes to political analysis within our region, in the Mount Kenya region, and now Kenya. And within that spectre, I can tell you I have been very practical in what I say, and I don't believe that if we keep quiet, then those others will go a big way in sorting the problems that we face in this country. All of us must participate in this conversation, and that is why I'm always in this conversation. I will continue enlightening the masses
Yes.
on where we've been, where we are, and what we need to do to have a prosperous future.
Yeah.
I intend to come up with ideas, and which I have been doing, that will influence generations for the next 1,000 years to come. I can tell you, I have not achieved even 2% of what I intend to do.
Okay.
I read a lot.
Yes.
That I can tell you, apart from the analysis and the rhetoric that you see me on political rallies in. I do have a passion for reading, and that is where I get to expand my mind and understand what is happening around. Because essentially, for you to become a good and articulate individual, you must be able to read a lot. Just recently, I got an endorsement, this I have to say, from one of the most respected professor of political science, Kagwanja,
Yes.
who said that he has never debated such an articulate young person within his career of politics, and which is a good thing, and I take it with utmost gratitude.
Yeah. It also motivates you to even go further and do better.
Yes, of course. So when you get that, even from none other than the philosopher King himself,
Yeah.
you have that motivation to keep on doing what you do. So I can tell Kenyans that let us continue cultivating a culture of progressive ideas.
Yes.
And just like it was said on the VE Day, 1945, when Europe was free, by Winston Churchill again,
Yes.
let it be that in the long years to come, not only shall the people of this country, but the citizens of the world, wherever the bird of prosperity chirps in human hearts, look back to what we did, and they will say, do not yield, do not be discouraged, march straight forward with courage and determination.
Thank you for that. And unfortunately, because of time, we have to wrap it up. It's been good talking to you. Thank you very much for giving us your time.
Yeah.
And the wise words that you just ended off with.
Yes.
Thank you.
Asante.
And Vibes Kenya, you heard it for yourself. Let the youth be the future. And here on Vibes Kenya, we support that. And I want to sign off and say peace out. Till next time.